how's it going? So today we're going to be planting a bunch of gorgeous buddleias out in the south garden. Butterfly bush is the common name. We have 6 different varieties and they all look so pretty right now. Look at this color. And it's a tiny bit early, but usually early to midsummer through the rest of the year is the butterfly bush's time to shine. A few things that butterfly bushes share in common, no matter what variety you have, is that they do prefer full sun. That usually means a spot that gets 6 to 8 hours minimum of sun. I think the more the better for these plants. In fact, once they're established, they are drought tolerant, they do like the heat, and they perform the best when they get a ton of sun. They also need excellent drainage. They are prone to root rot, so you don't want to plant them in a spot that's boggy, that holds on to too much moisture for too long. You don't want to overwater them, all those things. If you have heavier soil like clay, you can still plant them, but just make sure to plant the root ball a little bit high. And what that will do is help facilitate water drainage. You don't want water to settle into the crown of the plant, which is right where the stem or the trunk comes out of the soil. You want water to run away from that instead. So if you kind of create a little hill with your root ball so that water can run away, that's best. They all attract every single pollinator that your garden could possibly want to attract. They're amazing for that. So hummingbirds, butterflies, honeybees, and they do it for most of the season. They also provide color for a ton of the season, and it depends on what variety. There are some that will start blooming earlier on, and I think that kind of goes for every single category of plants out there. We have one variety today called Lo and Behold Blue Chip Jr. that starts blooming really early summer, and then goes through a hard frost. But typical butterfly bushes start to bloom somewhere midsummer, and then they go through a hard frost. So they just bring a ton of color through the dog days. Usually after we've cut back a lot of our other perennials, you know, I'm starting to cut back salvia and veronica, cut back that first flush of blooms, and then they sit there for a while looking just green and nice but no color. That's where these butterfly bushes start to really shine. So they add color where your other plants really are lulling out for the hot part of the summer. The blooms are also fragrant. It's not an overwhelming fragrance. It's a very light, just pleasant smell, but it's very specific to butterfly bushes. You know, there are some varieties of plants, when you smell them, it's Monarda for me. You smell that plant and it just takes you right back to your childhood or right back to a specific time in your life. Butterfly bushes are like that to me, and it definitely, when they're out in the sun, it's like that of most plants. During the middle of the day when it's real sunny and warm, the fragrance is amplified a bit. And they do not have to be deadheaded. Now that could be different for non-sterile varieties. Here in Oregon we cannot plant the non-sterile type. They have to be a sterile seedless variety of butterfly bushes. So usually in plants that will set seed, if you deadhead them, they typically are more productive in the bloom department. But for ours, it doesn't matter. They just keep on blooming throughout the whole season. So you can see, like on this one specifically, this bloom is pretty much done. I mean, if you aesthetically wanted to go in and take that off so you don't see it, you can, but it's not going to affect this plant's ability to keep on blooming throughout the season. And that brings me to a couple of differences. So non-sterile versus sterile varieties. Here in Oregon, and then I think in Washington, those might be the only 2 states where you cannot plant the non-sterile type of butterfly bush because they are termed invasive in our states, even though that's really just for the western side of the states where they have conditions that are conducive for the spread of butterfly bushes. We don't really have those conditions here on the eastern side where it's high desert. They wouldn't spread, but we just kind of get lumped into the whole, you know, state's law, I guess. So it's kind of a shame because there are some beautiful varieties I would love to be able to plant here, like the Pugster varieties. They have huge, big, thick blooms. They're so pretty, but we can't plant them here. We can only do the sterile varieties, but there are a lot of those available. And then variety differences, of course, which will bring you different colors, different sizes, different growth habits. I'm planting 6 varieties, like I said, but they are from 3 different series. So one of them is a micro series, so very short, very compact, like dwarf size. There's a Lo and Behold series, which are like kind of, they're more compact, a little bit bigger than the micro series, but not as big as some of the others. And then we've got some from the Miss series, which are like 4 to 5 foot size. And then there's a ton of other ones, like huge, big, massive butterfly bushes that grow 10 to 12 feet tall, which I'm not planting today, but they're pretty as well. Visit one of your local Reston Farms Garden Markets for all of your Proven Winners plant needs.